Hey, what's up? Kane Michael here, and I haven't done a video since I got out of federal prison, but I'm gonna do one now. I'm working on the book. It's a really good book. It's just hard to understand sometimes because I talk about Derek Michael too much. The less I talk about Derek Michael, the better the book goes. But it's about like dinosaurs, and it takes place in a scene. It's kind of familiar to my family. Like I think my brother is more or less my father. Um, and I've known his family for centuries, a long time, since before I walked the earth as Cain. Um, I'm off of the meth. I'm on this new vape pen right here, and I recommend it to anybody that has been addicted to meth or something like that. You get this vape pen. It doesn't give you a buzz all day, but when you first get it, you'll get a buzz from the nicotine. But it's like fucking medication for people that are coming off of meth. It's like you need something. I mean, you can't just cold turkey that shit. It's really hard to do. Um, I'm writing some short stories too. I'll read one. I wrote a couple that were about guys shitting their pants. But I got a bunch of shit coming from the feds. I started a Bridgeport series. Bridgeport is this guy that knows this mobster named Gary, and it's funny because he's over at his house the one night, and he's thinking about asking him for money for his gambling debts. And Gary's like, if this Muffet asks me for money, I'm gonna be so pissed. He lets him in, and his wife says, Bridgeport, do you want a beer? He says, yeah, I'll take a beer. And they give him an ice cold mug. Gary's got a real nice house and he's pretty wealthy. And they give him an ice cold mug and a beer. And he's getting ready to drink it. And the door flies open and it's his wife, Muffet. She says, he left me in the car, that son of a bitch. She says, give me that. And she grabs the beer and she drinks it. And then he says, Gary, can I have a beer? And he's like, you bridgy fuck. These are nice people, you bridgy fuck. It's a funny ass story. And it's brought to you by the Canadian Play, Ricky and Julian off of Trailer Park Boys. Those guys have been with me since my story's kind of like theirs. I go to jail all the time. I'm trying to change that. I spent a lot of time in the shoe and it was a tut build. I got out and did my math though. I do like breakdown math with my Social Security. Somebody's got to keep track. I try to do most of the math without a calculator, because you can't depend on calculators for everything. If everybody depends on a calculator, the science does not work. You have to have paper math done. I mean, I realize that some people are so good at math they can do it in their head, but it works well for me. I'm still waiting on Miley Cyrus. Sometimes I get really depressed about that because she's a goddess. I watch some of her videos and sometimes she has brown eyes. I mean, there's different Mileys, is what I figured out. Is there's like and my mom looks, like technically my angel mom looks exactly like Miley Cyrus. You can see her; she's always ringed up. My Miley doesn't wear rings. I've noticed particular things about her as I studied her. And I wish she did something like this, where she just would talk, because I would listen. I mean, I saw some old friends today. It was good to see them. A lot of people doing well for themselves. I just bought a new car, a 2022 Toyota Corolla. Now I just got to keep my ass out of prison so I can make the payments. It doesn't seem to be a problem. I'm going to get an apartment soon, I think. Seems to be the next step. I don't know. It's a huge step because money will be tight if I get an apartment, but I do qualify for the low income. But I'm having to pay Social Security back a lot of money that they paid me while I was incarcerated, which always sucks. And they shouldn't have to pay you while you're incarcerated because the government feeds you very well and you get room and board. I think if anything, they should take your check, because you still get your check while you're in there. And I think the government should take it and they should distribute you like a $200 allowance for commissary, and then they should keep the rest. I suspect there's a secret system like that with sometimes the way that people work in the federal system and get paid. I don't know. I suspected it. I almost got in a fight with a guy over the damn thing when I was at Allenwood Low. Um, but as you know, I have a theory that there's an alien incursion going on. That's what all the meth is. It tunes the flesh. I used it for just enough time to pretty much resuscitate my body. My body was death and my soul was death. I was death on death. Now I have a living body and a soul of death, so I should live forever. That's the science behind it. There'll be TED Talks if I look like this in 50 years. I mean, not that I'll see, but I'll know they're out there. I don't know. I don't know the science behind living forever. I don't see why human beings age. I mean, my DNA is so mutated from all the drugs I've done. It's crazy. I realize I have to take medication because I got down to North Carolina and I assaulted a police officer. He says I tried to take his head off. It was a cry for help that I needed to be put back on the shot because my pull-up guy was weak. Derek is in my lungs from all the meth I smoked, and he's kind of doing a pull-up, and there's people hooked to his legs, and his arms kind of come down, and he pulls back up, and sometimes he gets too many people. Like, I've known Derek for a long time. He's like from a future where people have completely left regular life and they just watch TV all the time. I'm hooked up with his energy. Really cool guy. Derek. He was the last Archangel I ate. My favorite. Well, Michael is one of my favorites too. And Lucifer. I love the Archangels. Even Satan. They make it. The Bible needed a scapegoat for all the bad shit that happens in the world, so they blamed it all on Satan. Satan is. My body is Satan. The Father's body was Satan, and he passed it around to his sons. So when it hit actual Satan, it was like Satan on Satan. He went fucking nuts. All four archangels were present on the cross. The cross was an electrical design. It's not just like that it was old times and they put somebody on a cross. Like for me, I don't know where the other gates are, but my gate was 2007, my car accident. In 2007, that's where I came through from the cross. Obviously, if you come through from the cross, you're not going to just float away or anything. You're going to be in an explosive car accident or something like that. I bought this new banana vape pen today. It's awesome. It's pretty kick-ass. I'm hoping to get off federal probation pretty soon if they'll let me off. I'm not going to use drugs anymore. I'm done with that. Like, I recommend get out of the life, I owe my success to TIP, Eminem, MGK, all the rappers. The rap scene got me out of the drugs. I can jigga jigga la la ba la ba ba jigga 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 pa la pa loom ba loom boom jigga 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 la hoomba loom ha la hoomba ha 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 ha. I can jig rap. I can't rap in English because English wasn't my first language. This is my body speaking, Kane Michael, and he's a cross warrior. I guess I could read a story. Look for a good one. Kissing the Wise, a Miley Cyrus tale. It's gonna work, Pet, Miley says, and the universe agrees that Derek and Miley is the love story. I can't wait, Miley says, so long ago. It never works, Miley spits, and Derek Michael's eyes fire with the spirit of God. Fuck shit, Derek says, and he raises his left hand to Miley's face. Gently, he rubs her tears of joy, and suddenly the serpent shows himself. Derek Michael says hello. A voice says, Derek Michael says hello. A voice says, and Miley's face gets vicious. Michael Derek is about to be bitten, and a force moves in. The Derek Michael drone disappears, and Michael Derek is intrigued for the first time in his life. What is that? He says. He is an angel of darkness. He tries to pursue, but there is a line of positrons and negatrons. Michael Derek says they are elders. They say we came from one God. Sweegie says, yuck! Michael spits. She's beautiful. I'm going to stop right there for a second. If we came from one, there would be no variation or polarity difference in anything. You can look at an electrical circuit, and you know there had to have been two in the universe because there's two phases that are always present in an electrical circuit. The neutral is the third phase. That's the line that I'm on. I went up the cross. The cross was met both hot phases, and then pop, the neutral came out the other side. 2000. Actually, I believe that Christ was crucified about 1000 A.D. So it was like 1,000 years after the crucifixion I came through. He survived the bite because he used to be a god. You can get in here, my friend, but it's going to cost you a bick. Michael sheds a bick, and there's a pop. Yuck, he says, and he is in front of a construction site. You nasty, no good motherfucker, he says to God. Grump, God devours a soul. This is a reference to the stories of the past in Victorville, New York. If you can eat Victor, Michael says, and he throws many of his chips in. Who is Hat Michael? He says to Squeegee. Pipe down until we break out Donkey. She never talks. Ring, 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 and the master answers. I can't help you today with pussy fungi. Yuck, the master spits, and he yells at the Luckies. Kal-El, the master spits, and he looks at his disabled fleet of drones. One of these days, shit, you are going to fuck up. Jordan grabs a shotgun, and Cece says, where are we going? Rock Burgers, Lucky says, and he comes out wearing a military outfit. Shit, Lucky, you look hot, Cece says. Little effers. Jordan doesn't like the scene because Cece's butt isn't in it. Mum, he says, but those Michael Derricks are dangerous. They will eat it. He says, yuck. It was designed to be impossible, Jordan spits. They jump in a militarized Hummer, and Jordan does 5 miles per hour under the speed limit to juice the traffic report. Patrick Swayze was not harmed during this story. Yeah, I got a bunch of these. That one, it was alright. You have to know my friend Jordan. He's like God. He changed his name to Jordan something. Jordan, I don't know. He's cool, though. I don't know. No, that bothers me. I don't remember that. Jordan Ross, yeah. He's a cool guy. He looks like Lucifer and Satan mixed. He's like a Satan Michael mix. Really good at math. But he doesn't like school. He's serving some time in the federal penitentiary, I'm sure, right now. But when he gets out, we're gonna rock and roll. No drugs for me, and I'm gonna try to keep him off drugs. Try to keep everybody off drugs. I don't even smoke pot, but this is a drug. To make no mistake, this is not much different than pot. You see people vaping on these pens. You shouldn't do it in stores and stuff or around kids. I think. Well, I mean, when I'm over at my friend's house, I do it around his kids, but they smoke anyways, so it's not a big deal. Well, I don't really have much else to say. I could read the recipe bitch. That's a good story. I wrote a couple of these stories. I'm putting together a book of short stories. This is the best story I've ever written, and Derek recently nailed his date with the recipe bitch. It's a true story. It was based on the cartoon Derek from Heaven. Derek was the devil's son, so he was trying to get with God's daughter. Not a good mix. I met the recipe bitch, a good song tale. I met this little recipe bitch, Kay, Derek says. I think she wants to hang out again. She probably feels sorry for you, Kay says. Derek thinks, and he is famous for that. He says, you're a fucking bitch, but you're only a bitch to me, so that's good. He gives Kay a gum wrapper, and he says, you'll find one someday. Derek looks in the mirror, and he thinks about shaving his head. I like that look, he says. What do you think I should do, Clippy? Clippy hopes Derek won't do it, so Derek does it. He shaves off his peach fuzz goatee, and he also hits the top. How do I look, Tomato Spice? Derek named his toilet Tomato Spice, and he names everything he encounters. That little recipe bitch is hot, Derek smarts. Derek sprays cologne on, and he looks in the mirror. I hate the way I look, he thinks. Derek's entire bathroom backs him up, and he says, I know. He pulls out the tweezers and he yanks a few hairs. His goatee is now perfect, and the bathroom wonders how. Who cares, little recipe bitch, his bathroom says, and Derek's bathroom gets aroused. Holy fucking shit, Derek thinks. I'm late. Little recipe bitch opens the oven, and she pulls out the fresh pot pies. She is never impressed with her own works, but she names these two Bumble and Shift. Derek would be fine in the CIA, she thinks. He is so nice. The little recipe bitch is from Miley's Star, and she is one of Jazzy's daughters. I can't wait, she says, and she prepares for her date. Derek comes out to his car, and his dad is showing his sisters how to water plants. Cool, Derek says, and he slips, falls, and lands in the bush. Fucking saved my life, Derek says, and he is without scratch or scuff. Kay has a date too, so she isn't jelly of Derek, but Derek still feels a little heartache from their breakup. This little recipe girl is so nice, he thinks. She probably has a leech of a box, Derek thinks. That's what I need to suck out the bully shit. I hope she didn't hear me, he thinks, and he starts his 2012 Oldsmobile Intrigue. Derek sets his gauges to no strippers, and he drives off. Kay gets a little jelly that Derek is driving now, but she has her own car. The recipe bitch waits at the Buff Cafe. Bring your own food. Derek pulls up and he sees her. Holy smokes, he says. She's out of my league. I wonder what her dad is like. And there's a knock on his window. Oh shit, Derek says. It's a fucking pig. That fucking bitch must have dubbed me, Derek thinks. I hate Kay, Derek says. But it isn't the police. It's Derek from the other corner of the verse, and he is wearing a pink fedora. Derek isn't aroused, but his car is. You must be Derek, he says. That's my little girl, the Jazz says, and I was saving her for Gandhi, but I guess you will do. Derek wishes he wouldn't have shaved off his hair, but Jazzy compliments him. Derek sees his electrical alliance pin, and Derek says, I know a little bit about electric if you want to chat. Jazzy says, in good time. Enjoy my little girl. The little recipe girl gets out some cupcakes, and Derek says, they look like Droopy's ears. The girl laughs, and she says, there you are, Derek. There are a lot of men named Derek. Those are my brothers, Derek says. I lean devil, which makes my dad mad, but I feel love. The girl thinks about love, and she says, my dad doesn't like love, but I do. He loves he loves the way he loves me, she says, and Derek gives the girl a recipe book with a maroon sandwich on the front. This is great, Derek thinks, and he feels alive for the first time in years. I wrote that story in Monroe County. It's a masterpiece. I mean, I wish I could write a whole series. You know, it's basically about two kids that fall in love. They're from different sides of the tracks, so it's not an easy tale. But there's going to be more, I'm sure. I'm going to get serious on writing. I need to get back to my habit of staying in my room all day, which I'm starting tomorrow. I'm going to do that. Stay in my room and work. You know, it's trouble if you just drive around and aimlessly and go visit people and all that shit. I guess you guys have a good night. I'm off. Later.